Hi, I'm Becca and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to show you how to make my hibiscus cane. Now you can do it in lots of different colours, but this is the one that I've done for the video today. I love purple, as you probably know if you've been watching me for some time now. The original colour that I did it in was sort of in yellows and reds and orange. So that was the original one. And when I sent a picture of this to my friend, she thought that looks like a hibiscus. And then she sent me a picture of different coloured hibiscus that I have no idea what an hibiscus was. And then she sent me one with the colours that are in this cane. I said, I've got to make it. I really, really have. So I stuck the camera on and I thought if it turns out all right, it'll be a video. So it's really easy to do, and it's just a bit, a sort of variation on a basic flower cane that there's probably hundreds of flower cane videos out there, but this is just how I put this one together. So let's get started and I'll show you how to make it. Right, so we're going to start off making our hibiscus cane, just with 4 different colours. Now all I've done to get this one is I've mixed a little bit of the purple with some white pearl, just to make it so that it's a paler shade. I've used Sculpey, Primo, and what's this one called? It's purple, that's what that one is. The yellow is cadmium yellow, and this was Fimo, because I've not got the right colour Fimo for what I go on, Sculpey that I wanted, and this was number 22, whichever that one's called. I'll put it up on the screen, whatever the name is, I'll find it out in my drawer and let you know. And like I said, so that's the cadmium yellow. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to create a regular skinner blend like I do with any other, really, just with 4 colours rather than 2 or 3 or whatever. Because we're wanting the darkest purple to go into the centre, then the light purple, pink, and then yellow. So let's small overlap, please, just a little. Now you could do the teardrop method, but I'm going to try doing it this way first. Just see whether if it's actually going to fit through my pasta machine. Go over there. So if I make it too wide, it's not going to go through. No, it's not. So we are going to have to do the teardrop method. We'll do it that way instead. So, get going again. So just pour all your clays into a teardrop if you're doing as big a cane as what I am. Because if I can get this the right colours, then there's loads of different things I want to do with it. So, yeah. So that'll be on the Patreon channel when I show you what I do with the cane. But that's it. So I'm just rolling it down into a teardrop. So I'm going to do the same with all the other ones. Right, so I've got all my teardrops made, and I've got them alternating just so that they blend more evenly. Squish them all down a bit. Go over with the rolling pin. Because if you try shoving something this thick through your pasta machine, it's not going to like it. It's going to fall out with you, and it's going to be really difficult. So, do it that way. Make sure you put it on your thickest setting when you go straight from doing it this way. Try doing it on a thin setting, it really will. It'll shout at you, your pasta machine, say, no, don't do this to me. Right, so to do a skinner blend, all we're going to do is we're just going to keep folding it up onto itself, then passing it through the pasta machine with the folded end in first. Try and get all the air out of your clay as best you can, because obviously with cane making you really don't want air pockets in there. Well, you don't want air pockets in any of your clay, but especially with making creams. Let's just nip this a little bit off here because I think we've got too much of that going on. And it's going to distort and go whatever direction it wants to, but I'm just taking the excess away because I don't want to waste clay when I can use it for something else. Right, so I'm quite happy with that blend now. I'll just take this way. Yeah, it's gone like this, but it's not going to matter once we do the next step. So I'm going to fold it up onto itself. I'm going to need to make a thin strip. So again, try and get as much air out of your clay as you can before you put it through your pasta machine. It just stops a bit of work from later on. You're having to get it out later. Put it through your pasta machine. That's got some purple bits now in there. Now, the trick I do is when I get something like that, I keep a little bottle of acetone on my desk. And then I just take a piece of kitchen towel. Well, you can try and rub some of it off first, but undoubtedly there will be some little bits that have got stuck in the pasta machine. And unless you clean your pasta machine after every single use, which is just not going to happen, not for me anyway, yeah, just having this little bit of acetone on the side, or nail varnish remover that's got acetone in it, and it just takes it away. Right. So what we're going to do now is we need to get it down to a thinner setting. I've spotted an air pocket there. Just pierce it and squash it back down. I'm going to go down a few settings because we're wanting to get this into a block sort of shape. So it's a bit longer. Right, let's go down another setting. I think I'm down on a number 4 now on mine. But have a play around with your pasta machine and see which setting works best for you. You might not want to go as thin as what I'm going. But if you've not got a pasta machine, then it's just a case of rolling it out as thin as that you can get it. And if you want to make it even, you could just use some lollipop sticks and stack them up at either side of your clay. I'll just show you in a second what I'm sort of meaning. Right, so imagine these were lollipop sticks. They're not the cake makers, but imagine that. You'd lay your clay in between however many you want so that it gets it to the thickness that you want. And then you get your rolling pin and then you just go over it like that. And then the thinner you want it, the less that you put at each side of it. So you don't have to worry about not having a pasta machine, it just takes longer. Right, so now what we're going to do is we're going to fan fold it. And I'm just going to start at the dark purple end. And I'm going to do a fairly chunky block because we're going to need to slice it to put our veins in. But just go backwards and forwards like you do if you were making a paper fan, if you did that when you were a kid. No, I did. Okay, got that into a general block sort of shape. So then you just want to take an acrylic block if you've got one. If you've not, you could use a coaster that you stand your drinks on, which I'm just going to have a drink of mine because I've just realised I've got a cup of tea and it's going cold while drinking. Sorry about that. Just wetting my whistle, as my nan used to say. So what we're doing with the acrylic block is we're just squeezing it down, getting any air pockets out. Now, looking at it, I've not got as much yellow as I wanted. So I've got a little bit of this yellow left over. And because that outer yellow isn't blended, don't need to worry about it. I can just pop a little bit there. And that just bulks it up. And same with the, the other end of it. you know, it doesn't have to be these colours that I'm doing. This is just the one that I'm doing, but you can just add to either end of it. So just squish it down and get as much air out of it as you possibly can. So I'll go with that. Yeah, I think we're alright with that one now. So you can see that we've got our 4 colours blended together nicely. So the next step is that we're going to put some veins into this. Now I'm going to be using a pearl white to put the veins in, but on the other one that I did that was a sample, I blended on this one, I did a orange and red Skinner blend. Now if you don't want to do just a regular standard coloured vein, what you can do is you can create your Skinner blend and thin it down and fan fold it like we've just done, just to get the colours closer together, and then you roll them out long ways. So like you'd have either colour at either side and you'd roll it into a long roll. So you'd have a really long strip with 2 different colours going along, and then that will create your vein. So hopefully that will make a bit more sense once I show you what I'm doing with this one. So again, we're going to need some thin veins. So whenever you're reducing a cane, the clay in the centre of the cane always reduces less than what the outside does. So whenever you're doing anywhere adding something into the middle, if you don't want it to be a really chunky line, just reduce your clay down beforehand, and then you're not going to end up with a really thick vein that just doesn't look right. So that's just where I think of it. So let's go with, I'll go back. 1, 2, 3. And just remember before it goes in, this is just white. Now I have a second pasta machine from when I used to have some clay stuff in the house, but now I do it all out here. So I've got both my pasta machines set up, so I keep one that is purely just for white clay. And if you've been playing clay with clay for quite a while, it picks up everything. I mean, this has only just been near it for a few minutes since I've been conditioning clay. I've just noticed it's got a tiny bit of yellow and a tiny bit of red there already, and it's not even been touching it. So it's got to have come off my skin somehow. So let's put that setting down then. Yeah, it's a bit too thick still, so I'm putting down some more. Yeah, I think we should be about right there. So just have a look at the comparison in between the size block that you're doing and, you know, your thickness of your clay. So what we need now is some straight strips. Let's make sure we're still in shot. You can always cut more afterwards, so you don't really need to be measuring, making sure that, you know, that it's the right width, or you can always squish it back up and redo it. Now I'm doing this just so that I get a nice straight edge, because I'm absolutely rubbish at doing straight edges. Now you could use a ruler to do the same thing. Now the veins that we're going to do are going down this way, so we need them to be as high as what the block is. So if we just rest our, do it from bottom, you can see it better. So if we rest our block there, so we know that's roughly what it is. I'm going to trim a little bit off of it, but because I don't want it going from all the way from the top to the bottom. But this is just the easiest way that I've found of doing it. Right, so I've trimmed it down that way, and then I'm going to just do it this way now. So just so we can get a rough idea what we're wanting. Now, I'm not wanting it to go down at the full depth of the cane. So I'm going to just cut off just a little bit, and I'm going to alternate whether if one's longer or shorter as I'm going along. So I'll go with this first one. Right, so got you in shot. I have. Excellent, there we go. So I'm just going to cut down from top to bottom some thin slices. And if you've got any air pockets in there, just give it a bit of a squish. It's better to get them out now. And then I'm going to just pop, get that right up to the end. Shaky hands don't help. Yeah. And then just trim any off because I've stretched it just a little bit. And then I'm going to pop that back together. Okay, so if you can see it there like that now. So I'm going to do that all the way along. So now this is just creating the tiny little thin veins. Now I'm going to make this one a little bit shorter in length because I want them to be staggered, because not all veins are the same length in nature. So I'm not going to be in my can. So, you can see that one's a lot shorter than the other one. So I'm going, because the purple's going to be in the centre. Again, see some air pockets there. And then I'm going to do that all the way along. Stretch that back out now, so I made it too small so you can get all the strips. The clay is very well conditioned, so it's easy distorted. So right, so as you can see, I've got one long one and one short one. I'm going to go all the way along this, doing the same thing. So I'll put this on high speed so you don't have to watch it in real time, because that'd be exceedingly boring. So I'll talk to you in a minute. So I've got those done all the way across. Now there's not as many veins in there as what I would like, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it in half and squish it together. But we're going to have to put an extra white slice in here, so let's see it. So it's about 1.5 inches, so we need 3/4. So I'm going to go about halfway. Down. So, and then you can see how many veins we've got, but I want more than that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be pushing these two together. So I've got 2 long ones there and 2 long on the outside, so I need a short one to go in the middle here. Let's take some of my very sticky clay, if I can part it. Yeah, it should be fine. And then just going to lay this in between. So I need a short one. Move the excess around it. And push those two ends together. This. Yeah. So there's a lot more veins in there now. So they're going to need a good squish. Now, I want to go over the top of this with just some of the purple. Reason being is because the centre of the flower is the darkest, and I want to make sure I've got enough of the purple there so that the white doesn't bleed through. So now this skull kit is lovely to cut and takes hardly any conditioning at all, which is fantastic. I hate conditioning, especially when you get a block of clay that's like really thick and crumbly. Yeah, it's not fun. Let's see if we can stretch that out. So this is the way I do things. I sort of like try and find out roughly what I need, and then I always end up adding to them. So that's one of the canes always end up being absolutely massive. Right, so I'm just going on the top of there. So as you can imagine, I've got quite a lot of purple clay in my stash because purple is my favourite colour. So a lot of my stuff has got purple in it somewhere. So when I saw this colour variation of the flower, I like need to make that one. Right, okay. So now what we're going to do is we're going to reduce this down because we're wanting to get it a lot smaller because we're going to be putting our centrepiece in. So use your acrylic block, use your rolling pin, whatever you do, just take your time with doing it because you don't want to distort all the work that you've done so far. I mean, at the moment, it doesn't really look much, just some squiggly lines, but it will look better once we get it reduced. Right, so we've got that reduced down to how we want it now. As you can see, the colours are dipping in there, so I'm just going to trim a little bit off so you can see a bit better what's going on. So that's not a perfect cut, but as you can see, the veins are really faint now, just because we've made it thinner to start with, and then we've reduced them down even further. So I'm just going to do this, because if you leave it too much, sometimes you can't get a clear picture of what you're doing, and then you slice it down and there's loads of distortion. But I'm happy with that so far. So there we go. So what we're needing to do now is we're needing to put our centre sort of like bullseye cane sort of thing that we're going to put in, but that's just to make the centre stand out a little bit. So I'm going to go get the colours for that because I forgot to get them out to do it. And I'll be back once I've got those ready. Right, so you didn't have to watch me make yet another skinner blend. All I've done is just some pearl white and some of the original purple what we've got in the cane already, and just made a quick skinner blend doing it the regular triangle sort of way. Thought you didn't really need to see me doing that again. So we're going to create a bullseye cane now with this. So I'm folding it on to itself, and it's going through the press machine on, I think this is a 3 or a 4. There we go. So I want to get the white in the centre. So I'm going to start rolling up. I'm not worried about this bit here, it's just where a bit's got caught in the machine. But Again, try and push out any air that you can when you're doing this. It's quite easy for air to build up when you're doing a cane. So as you can see, when I was doing the main part of it, I squashed squashed that quite well, and there were still some little air pockets in there. Stuck to my wire. Apologies for the shine on the glass mat. It's just a thing that I've got to contend with, especially with the daylight getting less and less now, with the what time of year it is and time in the day when I'm filming. It's starting to get dark outside now. It's very windy out as well. If you can hear it in the background, but it's rather windy. Okay, so this is going to be our centre part. Now I want it to be long enough to go down here, so I need to reduce this. So I'll just chat to you while I'm reducing this because it's not going to take long anyway. So yeah, I started making this cane yesterday because I was trying to think of a different way of doing a flower and a petal cane. And so we're trying to think of different ways of doing it because there's lots of different flower canes out there, and it's hard not to repeat what another artist does. So a friend of mine convinced me to try and think out of my comfort zone and try and think of something, just myself, like not taking into, consideration what I've learned from elsewhere. And this is sort of what I came up with. So this is the first version of it. And then when I sent that to my friend, she said, "Oh, it looks like hibiscus." And then she sent me a picture of a gorgeous flower. I'll show you now. This one, as you can see, it's gorgeous. And I said, I've got to make it. So it's not going to be exactly, I don't think we're far off from the colour that they are anyway, but that's what I'm aiming for anyway. So this is what this is for the centrepiece. Now I'm not going to need all of this, so then as you can see here, the purple's not going all the way to the end, so I can just nip that off. So it's still a bit too big for what I'm wanting, so I'm going to take that chunk off there, and I can save this for something else. So it'll be a coordinating cane for whatever I do with this. That way. Yeah, so that's perfect for what I'm wanting now. So now we need to make a sort of a trough for it to go in. So you just need something that's basically round. So I'll just take I think this is what I used yesterday when I was doing it. I'm just going to rock it back here. We're just trying to make a sort of gutter. If you're in the UK, you know that's what you call it. I don't know whether if that's what you call it in all the other countries, but what's at the side of the road that dips down and catches all the rain. I'm just going to pop that there like this. Okay. And we're going to nip the top of this up into a point. Now I want a little bit more yellow just coming down the side here, so a bit more of this. Ooh. Not going to need much, but it's just so that I've got a bit more definition in between the petals for when I'm slicing it up. So I'll just take a little bit. Beautiful clay. I've got a big stash of it. It's like, I don't want to use it because it's so nice, but I need to use it at the same time. And I've got quite a big stash of clay at the moment because it's shortly after Christmas, and plus I've got a lot of female that I've got left over that I've either got when it's been on sale, or I've bid for a birthday, Christmas, whatever. But then I've also got these female professionals blocks. They're really big, they're so hard to condition. I've got some of the female conditioning bar, and I keep trying to do a bit of it at a time so it's ready for when I want to use it. Because it doesn't hurt your hands, especially, you know what I mean. It's just one of them things. I'm like, I don't want to use it because it's just so hard. Right, okay. So you can see how warm I've got it in here. I've got the heaters on because it's freezing outside. So let's just trim you off. Right, so I'm not wanting to go all the way up like I've done it on previous flower canes. So I'll just measure it out. So I'm just gonna pop it to the edge. And I think probably just around about there. Make sure you've got both ends lined up. A bit further down. Oh, sorry about that tinny noise. And the same on the other side. Again, just try and get it roughly around about the same. And this is rolled out on my number 3. Well, I've just rolled out for it. So I didn't want it to put too much bulk going in it. So as you can see, it just comes a little bit further up now. So when you're reducing it down and you're slicing it up, you've just got a bit more definition, that's all. So I'm going to reduce this now, just by squishing and pulling. Now it is very, very soft, so I think I might just leave it I'm going to leave it just a few seconds just so that it doesn't distort too much, because as you can see the veins are going rather lovely. So I'm just going to tidy my desk up. I'm not going to leave it too long, but it's very, very soft at this moment. So I'll go and tidy my desk and get the clay out of the way because I don't want anything getting mixed up, and I'll be back in just a second. Right, so it's been a few minutes, so I'm just going to start reducing it. Now, if you know how to reduce a cane already, feel free to fast forward with me through doing this bit. But I know for some that are just starting out, they might not know, ways to reduce down. So I'm wanting to get it into sort of a triangle shape. Now, out of this cane, I'm wanting to get a petal cane, but then I'm wanting to create a flower. Now, in the flower cane, it's going to have 5 petals. So really I need to make it so that it's into 6. So when I'm reducing it down, I'm just taking into consideration how long it is and how long the sections are going to be. So I want something that's going to be divisible by 6, but the sorry, I keep saying again. It's because my brain's not catching up with what I wanted to say. The petal cane, I want to keep it larger. So if you were reducing it all down straight away and you were using it straight away, then I'd say reduce it all down so that it's the same size, and then you're going to get what you wanted. But I'm going to leave a section just so that it's larger, so I've got a chance to reduce it down when I'm actually going to use it. Now, when you're getting like this, that's not going to be any good for you too. So just trim a bit of it off. And then, so as you can see, this is what we're getting. And so this is where you get that bit of distortion from it. Well, that's fine. So this is quite a large cane. So I'm going to get a lot out of it. So So got that to about the size I want to keep my petal cane to. So let's just take off. Let's take off a 2-inch section, I think. No, we'll do 3. Daring. So this one is what I'm going to keep as the petal size. So I'm just going to keep reducing this down now. So it needs to be divisible by 5 now because we've got 5 petals within the flower. Try and get it so that it's to about 10 inches. So then I can have a 2-inch long cane. Now at this point it's very, very stretchy, so it's easy to get it to what we want. Right, so I've got it just about there, but as you can see that's not a proper cut at the end. So I'm going to chop a bit of that off so we can see what's going on there. So the yellow doesn't go quite as far as I want, so it's a bit better. Remember, don't throw any of your scraps away. There's lots of things that you can do with them. I've got a few other videos showing you what you can do with some of your scrap clay. So I'll put them in the link in the description box, and then you can go and watch those. Because if you're like me, they build up quite quickly when you're doing cane making. So that's it. That's the cane as a nice cut. And then we're just going to cut this into 2-inch sections. You can see what I'm doing now. Well, you can't see the full thing, but hopefully you're getting the idea of what I'm doing. So I've got it up to 10 inches, and I'm just going to cut it into 5 sections of 2. If you're good at eyeballing it, you eyeball it. Me personally, I think I've got it at the right size, and then I think, no, that's not right. So I've got my 5 sections now, and I want to put an extra little bit in the centre, so I'm going to use a bit of the bullseye cane that we made just to do our centrepiece. Now in the picture it's just got a few of these sort of stamens coming out, but I'm just going to give it the one bigger one, and then it's got these smaller ones coming out here. So whenever you're reducing this down, try and take into consideration the size of the petal that you've reduced it down to compared to the size. So just keep checking it, putting it alongside. So I'm just going to reduce it just a little bit more. Just remember what I said, whatever's in the centre reduces less than what it does on the outside. So I'm quite happy with that one there now. So I'm just going to trim that off. Okay, so obviously that's not going to sit right within points of flower, so on the purple end just press down so it flattens it a little. You can see it's not got that sharp point on anymore. There we go. And then just take the bullseye. I'm just going to line it up with one of the pieces. I'm going to try and get it to main shot. There we go. I'm going to just move it in just a bit, just so you can see a little bit better what I'm doing. There you go. So move that out of the way. I forget I've got 2 cameras looking at me now. Right. So sorry if that just blinded you while you were watching it. Still not. Oh, we'll get there in the end. It'll go in bloopers. Right, so we're just going to roughly put them around. I'm trying to get them so that they stick to the glass mat, so it's easy for you to see what I'm doing. As you can see, the veins have reduced down so little, it's just got that nice thinness that veins have. If I'd have done them any thicker, they would have looked a bit tacky, you know, like fake flowers, you know, like when they're not made very well. So that's what I wanted it to do. And now I've got them all there. Oop, flip it over. Just make sure they're all lined up as well. Now the next thing is just to push all these together. Now remember to do it all the way down and just keep pushing them in. Flip it over again. So one of these is easiest to reduce down as a circle cane or round cane, whatever you want to call it, and close up these gaps. Okay, and just give it a squish. Now at this point, if you wanted to put any more yellow around the outside, you could, because like I said, the outside reduces down a lot more than what the inside does. So I might put a little bit more yellow on that one. Let's see if we can. No, I'll have to condition some. I'll do that off camera. You don't need to be doing that. So that's it. That's our main petal and flower cane. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reduce it down into and do different things with it, but that'll be over on my Patreon channel. So I'll put the link in the description box below, so then you can go over and watch that if you want to join on my Patreon. I hope you've enjoyed this video. If you give me a thumbs up, that'd be appreciated. And if you've not subscribed, if you would subscribe, that'd be appreciated too. And click the bell notification, and then you'll never miss out on any videos that I give. I'll upload, whatever I do. Oh dear, my brain's ready to go to bed already. Anyway. So yeah, if you've enjoyed it, there's going to be lots more content going onto my Patreon channel, as well as what's going to go onto my YouTube channel. I'm doing exactly the same as I usually do. It's just in addition the Patreon to what I do on YouTube. So if you want to see what I do with these two canes, then head over there and you can have a look. I'll just show you the original cane one I was making. This is a yellow version, and then that was what the Skinny blend was made out of, and the orange was on the outside and the red's gone in. But the smaller it's got, I've not seen much of the orange, so that's when I realised I needed to do something that had got more. What's the word? I can't think. Anyway, it stands out from the colours of the cane. Oh dear, I think I really do need to go to bed. So yeah, so I hope you've enjoyed that. Anyway, and you've listened to me ramble on for however long this video is going to be. So thanks for watching, and I shall see you next time. Bye.